What's up? What's up, everybody?
What's happening, boys?
Are we streaming? I think we are. Just waiting for YouTube. Yep. Connection. Excellent. How's it going, everyone? We are live. Welcome to the Black Lodge Games live stream.
Hell yeah.
It is good to see you guys. All right. We got a couple days left on Cults of Zahak. If you guys go to the description of this video, you can still back it if you haven't already. We are making lots of progress.
Oh, yeah.
We got our layout, at least the base layout, completely done. It's like 98% of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight we're going to be showing you 4 of the spells that we have for the brand new magic system. I got to switch this over to live chat instead of top chat before we start talking to you guys.
There we go.
There we go. But if you want more of what you see tonight, we have 13 spells
Up
completed,
on locals. Yep.
up on locals. So they got that about an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago. It is so cool.
Yeah.
These are the ones that are completed, and we've got
Over 40.
over 40 so far. We have 41 spells and rituals. It's going to top out probably around 50, maybe a little more. Just kind of depends on the creative juices, but the stuff we got going on is so cool.
Yeah.
And Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Let's
I did.
let's see who's here in the chat though. Hopefully I'll be able to join tonight. Sounds like it'll be an interesting one. Yep.
Nice.
Good to see you, Elf Hunter. I hope you're here. Yes, I'm going to love this topic. I feel like this is a topic that is often discussed but rarely seems executed in TTRPGs. Well,
Very true.
this is evil.
Right.
And some of
Very evil.
yeah, and some of the stuff that is not completed yet is even worse than what's
Oh, yeah.
what's on the locals.
Way worse.
It's super gross.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, it's awesome. These are going to be people that they must be defeated.
They have to be stopped.
The problem is that we wrote all this cool shit, and now I'm like, I want to play one of these guys.
Yeah.
Las Empanadas. All right. I shall try to chime in on my lunch break when you go live. All right.
Nice.
I will eventually see The Witch, promising a
You
psychological
gotta see
experience.
it.
You got to see it.
So good.
And this is Cults of Zahak is very much in the vein of The Witch. This is how these people are evil. Because Nick brought up an excellent point earlier. We were talking about this, where Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm going to spoil the movie right now. So if you haven't seen The Witch, I'm sorry, but you're getting the full spoilers. There is a witch, and it shows up in the first 5 minutes. So that's not really
not
a spoiler.
a spoiler.
But all of this bad shit happens. And then Anya Taylor-Joy, at the end, after having her life completely ruined, and nothing really in particular happening to her, she doesn't get like her hands cut off or, anything like that. After seeing all of this, still chooses to write her name in Satan's book.
Yep.
And she becomes a witch. And that's the kind of evil that Cults of Zahak is based on.
Oh, yeah.
Go see that movie, though.
Yeah. Try and catch before Christmas because
Nosferatu is coming out.
Yep.
Same director, Robert Eggers. And it's going to be amazing from what I've heard. I heard last stream a bit about how dark magic actually lessens one's ability to use normal magic. That sounds exceptionally cool mechanically and thematically.
Yeah,
but we're
we're
going to
gonna
go
talk
over
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
that is true.
They've been teasing it to us slowly. Cunning bastards. Witches. Yeah.
Witches, warlocks.
I hope your body's ready. And I hope your character's body is ready for this stuff because some of it's pretty awesome. Looking forward to it. Good to see you, Squat Bench Deadlift. No One, Someone. The Vivitch is excellent. It's one of the best films at conveying the horror of living at the edge of civilization. Correct. Better with Bacon's here.
What's happening, man?
Good to see you, man. The Van, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Adept Austin. D&D was canceled tonight. Lucky me. Nice.
There you go.
Well, it's even better because you get to talk about Mythras.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. I got to make an adjustment here because I think the Spotify volume does actually need to come down. And then this needs to come up so we can hear Mr. Biden. Let us know if the music is too loud. But with that, let me also... Oh, damn it. Where'd the other window go?
There it is.
Get our chat back.
Let's see what Biden
But lucky
said.
you, yeah, you get to hear a little bit more about some cool shit in Mythras.
Oh, yeah.
But let's check out that super chat. Mercurius is here. Here I am chiming
Here you
in
go.
on my lunch break. Thank
you, man.
For $5. We appreciate it, man. The Edge of Civilization factor again. There was a creature who was onto something about that, I believe. I don't know what this is referencing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But that is a perennial topic.
Right. And we have come up with we've come up with 3 of the cults so far.
Right.
Sort of technically 4, but we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But it's not. We've come up with, this book needs 5 cults for it to operate.
Yeah.
We have the cult for Shadows over Avalok. We have the Barbarian, the
Right.
Nomad, and the Primitive cult. But we have not, since the Shadows over Avalok one is a civilized cult, we have not thought up that cult. The other
a
sample
standalone
cult,
one.
standalone
Right.
cult. Yeah. So technically you're getting 5 cults instead of 4.
That's true.
But the Primitive one on the Edge of Civilization is
messed up.
really cool and really messed up. And the Nomad one is awesome. And the Barbarian
They're all
one is
cool.
so cool. And they're all very different.
Right.
Tie the phenomena, the experience to a place and a place to a circumstance. Quite narrative and compatible with gamism, and gamism feeding back into narrativism, etc., etc., etc. Something about a creature. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about, man. I apologize. The more people dwell in the spirit of God, so to speak, the less chaos there is. The weaker the foundation of society in truth, the more corruption seeps in and the laws of reality compromise.
That is
yes.
true.
Okay, yes. This is, on point for cults. Got people saying hi. Dyson Anarchy's here. Wing Nuke, good to see you. Can't Rip, I've actually been playing around with that idea a tad. Way more sci-fi about it, and it's barely even legible as an idea and more mad scramblings. But the concept is very neat. It is indeed. And it's good to see Primeval
Hell
Fantasy.
yeah. Good to see you, man.
Damn, who's she? That's Anya Taylor-Joy, man. The most beautiful alien in the world.
Yeah.
I can fix her. Yeah. I don't know that you could fix that character.
Definitely not that character. And
Yeah.
probably also not on
Bro, you can't fix yourself. They be live. Yeah. Audio's good. Cool. Good to see you, Roland Stag. Ahoy. How's it going,
What's
Spencer?
up,
Good to
dude?
see you, man. I hope you check out what's in the locals. It's because I'm sure some of that's going to be coming our way in our Mythras game at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Howdy, boys. Hits that like button. Thank you. I
Thank
see
you.
58 viewers on here. If you guys could go and give us 58 likes, that'd be amazing. What's up, everyone? Congrats on the Kickstarter, boys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we still got a little
you,
less
man.
than a week at this point. We're going to announce one more stretch goal probably tomorrow.
Yep.
Get us over that final finish line. But we're also going to have late pledges enabled basically right up until the very end when we fulfill.
Right.
So there will be opportunities to back this even after the holiday season. Perfectly on time. We were actually a little, it said 8:29 when I pressed live. Go live. Yeah. Patty's Parlor. Good
What's
to see
up,
you, man.
dude?
That looks like more Christmas goblin poop than a tree. This? No, this doesn't look like Christmas goblin poop. This looks like a cute pillow that lights up for Christmas.
And rightly so.
And rightly so, because it is. Good evening, Cell Socks. We got people saying hi to Patty. They're sitting correctly again. This pleases me. That's because we're not using Restream. And you're right, we were reversed.
Yeah.
Nice pillow. Yep. Tora's here. Good to see you, man.
What's up?
James Marcos. Not sure if we've seen you before,
Oh,
but
well,
welcome,
good to see
welcome. Hey, Tora. He says the spells on local are dope as fuck. That
Hell
is correct.
yeah.
And like I said, you get 4 of them tonight. We only exported 4 of them to this document. The remaining 9 that are there on the locals, you got to join the locals to do that. Which you can with promo code FREN, F-R-E-N, all capitals, or promo code MIDWIT. That'll get you a month free. And I think we're like only 5 people away.
Oh,
on
right. I
locals
forgot about that. Yeah.
from getting like the next tier where we can actually,
Do
upload
streams.
more than one video
Yeah.
a month on locals, and we can do streams that are more than 30 minutes. I think we get 2 hours. So we'll be able to do a monthly live stream.
Yeah, we'll
only
be able to
with
do
the
more
locals crew.
content.
Yeah.
5 more.
I think we got the Mirror Universe last week. We did. Yeah. Tora and Patty's Parlor. Yep. 42 ought to be related to the answer to the universe. Maybe. Mariah Carey poisoned their brains with black magic. Yeah. 50 spells for something PCs aren't supposed to readily use. Based logic games, you mad lads. Yeah. Well, like we said, this is a book of foes and antagonists. However, we do know that people will want to play these things, they will. There's nothing we can do to stop them. And unfortunately, even I, after writing some of this, was like, this is really cool. I want to I want to play as one of these guys. But just know that it is a metaphysical evil to do these things.
Yes.
We talking about the witch? Only tangentially. It is the witch being an inspiration for Cults of Zahak, which is live on Kickstarter now. I mute you. Doesn't wanting to play them suggest that they're kind of things that are going to both tempt and repel players? Yeah. Oh, it will definitely tempt some players, and it will definitely repel some.
Yeah.
Wait, a movie called The Witch has a witch in it. Color me surprised. I know, it's shocking. Yeah.
It's not a
before
subversion.
I heard any spoilers. Good. I am one of those people that spoilers don't bother me at all, even a little bit. I can still fully enjoy something. And also, the movie's been out for 10 years, so the moratorium is over.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy already looks like an elder being. Yeah. Is that a Doctor Who villain in between you? Yeah. Doctor Who is a television show for fat chicks and Redditors. I personally loved the Dark Sun method towards magic. It destroyed the world and was feared by the populace. Well, not all magic is bad. And in fact, most magic is
Most
good.
magic is not
in this
explicitly
world.
evil or only evil.
There are, you could, of course, use, just like you can use fire for bad purposes. You can use magic for bad purposes. But it is not inherently evil. And some of it is really kind of inherently good.
Inherently good.
Anything that you're using, like the power of the gods, the saints, rather,
faith,
is going to be
veneration. That is.
I cannot wait for the rituals and cults of Zahak.
Dude, they're
nice.
Really cool. They're really screwed up, too. Lunchtime Aussie viewers. Yeah. 12:34 p.m. in Queensland. Nice. So I grew up with old Ray Harryhausen's Sinbad movies, and in those movies, all of the villains are wizards. So my brain, magic equals evil. Yes, these guys are certainly evil. There's no way to interpret what they are doing as good or like
or even misguided.
Misguided or misunderstood. It's a conscious evil choice.
Yeah.
1:35 p.m. in New South Wales. Okay. Wingnut, a Mexican, hey? I guess, yeah. It's dark magic, rum, and eggnog time where I am. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Always excited to talk about Mythras. Yeah.
Same.
This is so cool. I wonder what Arthas would have been like. That's the Warcraft guy, right? Warcraft 3?
Athos is the Dark Sun world.
Oh, Athos. Yeah.
Arthas also is the World of Warcraft guy.
Okay. Would have been like if that destruction was internal instead of only just environmental. Vampire humanity rules are still a lighthouse to me for that.
Yeah, if the corruption of using magic in Dark Sun wasn't just sort of making the land barren, because it's, if I recall, that's sort of why it's a desert world.
Right. I'm gonna put this right here so it's
there. You go.
So everybody knows what time of year it is. It's fucking Christmas. You got me, the ginger Mexican. Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy, eyes like the stars, not because they shine, but because they're so damn far apart.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Even before she had a buccal fat removal, that was
such a
very
shame.
alien. Yeah.
Yeah. Such
what a
shame.
disaster.
What? Yeah.
It always is.
It's never looked good.
It's never looked good on anybody.
Not on anybody. So I know that there's no women watching this right now, but if there are women ever watching this, don't get buccal fat removal.
Yeah.
It's just going to make you look old. And then when you get old, you're going to look like 1,000.
Yeah. Right.
It's really bad. You're just destroying a sign of beauty and youth. It looks good with the buccal fat. Please keep it there.
Right.
Don't be ugly for no reason. Don't be
ugly at all for any reason.
Ever.
Do better, BLG. Do better.
Black magic. Yes, the ultimate good faith interpretation of what we're talking about. Yeah, $2. Thank you, Matthew Picker. Good to see you, man. Also finished a final. Final was 96%. If that's a test.
Oh,
like
nice.
Good. Anya Taylor-Joy is attractive, but in an odd manner. This is what people used to say about Zooey Deschanel. They'd be like, she's so quirky and, like, she's not, like, traditionally pretty. It's like, no, she's just really
Just to
hot.
explain the joke, I'm a Queenslander. Wingwood is in New South Wales, therefore south of the border. Has
Got it.
Mexico.
Yeah, it's but yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy is just hot. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's weird. Yeah, she has this kind of ethereal thing going on.
She's still hot now, but she's weird.
She's
She looks like a Skyrim elf.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your grade. Validation. I always saw Athos' destruction was within, without, and beyond. The rot just existed throughout everything touched by magic. That's cool.
I couldn't say. I don't know nearly enough about the Dark Sun lore.
Right. The stream is not the same without the feet. Well, we're gonna have to wait until
springtime.
it warms up again. Yeah. Patty's Parlor asking, BLG dudes, can you wish my son Oslo a happy birthday? We
Happy
certainly
birthday,
can.
man.
Happy birthday, Oslo. The feet pics are on the forbidden BLG OnlyFans. I used the Design Mechanism promo code to get a physical copy of
Hell
Mythic
yeah.
Britain. Young Steve has me pining for Mythic Babylon as well. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. The only thing that I don't like about it, and this is not a point against its favor, it's a point in me being illiterate, is that it has very authentic names
Oh, yeah.
for people and
People and things and
things.
gods and
I don't know how to
professions.
pronounce any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like Makwahito. Like even
Yeah.
that has a pronunciation guide in it, and I'm still just like, I don't know how to say any of this. But it is very cool and very authentic. Stay warm, boys. Remember to forgive your enemies, but not before they are hanged. Yeah. Well, you're going to want to see what we got cooked up for that. Something relevant in our spells list. Indeed, defiling was considered the fast and easy way. So was the dark side more powerful. No, faster, easier it is. Yeah.
Yoda tried to warn them.
Yeah. It defiled the soul to defile the world, in other words.
Interesting.
One thing I haven't been clear on about Cults of Zahak, what length are we looking at? We're not sure yet. Probably around 100 pages. It's going to depend. And it's 8.5 by 11. It's not a digest like the Shucked Oyster was.
Yeah.
It's a full-size book, but it's going to be pretty meaty. Like I said, we will have over 50 spells most likely by the time this is done. Just for the magic system, we have 4 full cults to write up.
Yep.
We have the
Full write up on all the different materials and spirits and way in
spirits
which
for the golems.
golems are created.
Yeah. We have sample golems. Then
Yep.
we have a full city adventure. So
Yep.
it's going to be fairly substantial. And this is the problem. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but this is what happened with the Shucked Oyster.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be this
Files the
length,
souls
and then it
of
ended up being
Yalbushemi.
more. And then it grew and grew and grew until it was literally more than 10 times the size we thought it was going to be in the end. This will not be 10 times longer than we anticipated, but it's going to be fairly big.
Yeah.
You will not be short on content in this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a gazetteer only high level.
Yeah, no.
We're going deep.
Yeah. Same sort of thing with the Shucked Oyster. We're going to have probably more characters in this than for Cults of Zahak or for Shadows over Avalok, because it's not simply one location as a
Right.
nexus point.
I would
it's like
anticipate
multiple
that being the
factions.
case. Yeah.
And we had
gotta-
over 3 dozen in the Shucked Oyster.
Yeah.
Spoilers don't really sway me. Nobody really attempts to explain a whole movie's twists and turns, so going good guy was actually bad just doesn't grapple me. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Ruined.
Of course.
Movie ruined. How do you guys feel about random chances of magic just completely fucking the caster up for evil magic? That depends on the setting, I think.
It depends on the setting. It doesn't really fit for our setting.
Yeah.
But it is cool in different worlds,
Yeah. And
different contexts.
and the way that this magic fucks you up is that someone mentioned this earlier, and we'll go into it a little bit more, is that it's literally eating away at your soul. So
Right.
your ability to use other magics, you're first of all permanently barred from ever using any sort of divine
magic.
That's off the table. The only deity that will hear your prayers is Zahak at that point. Sorcery and the kind of inbuilt magic that humanity has, which is more of kind of like the folk magic in Mythras, that stuff you can still use, except as you advance in the cult, that power is diminished at the expense of your evil magic growing.
You become more powerful.
You're permanently denied
evil.
the afterlife. Like you're nothing after when you die. You don't go anywhere. You cease to be.
Right.
When you accept that. Oh, we got $10 here.
I think we got another super chat
Yeah.
that we missed as well.
Volker should take those souls to civilized Cults of Zahak.
I don't know who that is, but thank you for the $10, man. It's good to see you, Buttquack.
Oh, that's my character in Buttquack's game.
It defiled the souls of young Buscemi. Yeah.
I'm excited to get back to playing Volkar.
Yeah.
He is very fun.
But the other way, like, there's all sorts of stuff where, like, when you write your name in the black book, so to speak, like, the color is sapped out of the world in your vision. Everything becomes more gray. It's like desaturated. Like, food doesn't taste as good. Like the
Right.
sort of pleasures that
life
you
itself
take
is less vivid.
is less vivid. Yeah. And then in order to get back your Diabolism points, you got to do all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also, along with that, you get like other little banes and curses as you advance in the cults. So it's very
really
cool.
fucked up.
It's really fucked up though.
But the thing is, it's like, it's not a surprise. It's not a wild magic or a primal magic mishap. There aren't mishaps per se. You know exactly what you're getting into, and you're choosing,
and you choose to pay that price.
Anti-life.
Yeah. A good way to put it. I might find the Soul of Corruption rules for BRP and blend it with Mythras and Cults of Zahak for Athos.
Nice.
Yeah, Dark Sun would be cool with Mythras.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be super, because it's a super intense, deadly place.
And
Mythras can be very deadly if you want it to be.
Right.
Corruption rules can be found in the Mythras Companion. Interesting. Dark Sun is especially nefarious because it has propaganda baked in. The Sorcerer Kings maginuked the world, blamed it on everyone else, and used that as the pretense to monopolize magic.
Every time.
Yeah. But then you get not magic, which is psionics. It's different, guys.
Yeah.
It's not
I promise.
magic. Yeah. Saves me having to bash some brew. All right. Is buccal fat surgery one of the new Zahak spells? It's one of the curses that happens to you.
It should be.
The hell is buccal fat? Buccal fat is the fat in your cheeks. And it's a trend now for female celebrities to get that liposuctioned out. So they have this look to them.
Yeah, these sunken witch-like
old bag look to them. It is always a mistake. It has never looked good ever.
Yeah.
For a prime example of this being really unfortunate looking, look up the actress who played Starlight in The Boys, first season to now. She's gone way far on the surgery. It's not good. She looks old.
Yeah.
We got black girl magic. That's right. Buccal fat is the fat around your cheeks and jawbones. Yep. Normal cheek fat. Exactly. Right. Also, everything for Mythras is available on Lulu, and Lulu is running a 20% off sale at the moment. Nice. The book place can do that? Does that affect your... I'm trying to think. If I'm publishing on Lulu, do they just give a 20% discount and then I have to fucking eat that?
Yeah. That doesn't seem...
Unless it's the design mechanism doing 20% off on Lulu, which would be different, but...
It might be that the design mechanism is running a sale. I don't know. I have to look at that.
Anya Taylor-Joy is this generation's incarnation of Christina Ricci, I believe. Maybe. Hey, I'm looking to become a lich. I've been told buccal fat removal is the first step. Don't judge. Yeah, exactly. Anya Taylor-Joy looks like the creature from Splice without the stinger tail. What was Splice again?
It was, when did it come out? Maybe 15 years ago, I think. It was, I think, like a genetically engineered child. It grew preternaturally fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking Species, which I know is not the same.
Not the same.
Wait, I remember Splice. Yeah. It had the guy from
I think the creature was like
it.
bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, and it had like high heel.
Yeah,
feet.
like Alien Queen feet.
I remember that movie being really fucking dumb. Like the plot just being
I never saw it.
stupid.
But
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's characters. It's like, why are you doing this?
yeah.
May this evening. That's
Yep.
awesome. Happy
Hell
birthday
yeah.
again, Oslo. Is there snow down there in Texas? No.
No.
It's freezing though, and by freezing I mean it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get a small amount of meat out of the buccal tissue of a northern pike. I heard from the basic expert that Lulu was good quality print. I'll have to give it a look when I get home. Yeah, so pretty much everything that I've had from Lulu has been great. The Mythras books especially are excellent. Really dark, deep black text and everything. It's awesome, high contrast. We talked to a guy at the Long Con, though, who said that for black and white, it's always been reliable. Hold on.
Bitches look like a crypt keeper and called booty.
Yeah.
Also, I think Jenna Ortega is the Kristen Ricks of the current generation. She's also super cute.
Jenna Ortega. Yeah.
Well, they put her in the Wednesday.
They put her in Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
So. But
I
yes,
think Jenna
correct.
Ortega is the new Aubrey Plaza.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this guy said that the color printing that he's had through Lulu has been all over the place, and that apparently Lulu farms out a lot of their books to different smaller printers, and so you get a lot of variation in quality. The only color books I have from Lulu, like I have Wretched Epoch, that was beautiful. It's got nice glossy pages, which is perfect because that has beautiful Art Nouveau pieces in it, like public domain stuff that's like gorgeous to look at. And it doesn't make it unreadable. But I usually don't like glossy pages.
Agreed.
But yeah, black and white stuff on Lulu is generally very good. Mythic Babylon is so hard to read because of the names. Yeah, exactly. Bring a wheelbarrow on Saturday. Yeah. Sadly, no matter how evil you make the villain, there are always a few weirdos who try to sympathize with the villains, somehow making up a way to make them seem like a victim.
You can't help that, though.
You can't help that.
Just don't play with those people.
Yeah. And anyone who's going to try to play the victim, the thing is, you could be a victim of something, and that could drive your character to give in to despair.
Sure.
But it's like,
but you still
did it.
that.
You still chose it, and it is not.
And it doesn't justify that choice.
It doesn't justify that choice. Yeah, and it is objective that it is evil in this game.
Correct.
And as you'll see, some of these spells, there's just really not a way to use them for good.
Yeah.
Just pronounce it in full Texan. It's the American way.
What's that?
I'm not sure. We have an idea for an RPG setting. OSR rules, maybe. It's possible that Mythic Britain and Urbanski's Arthurian Legend game make it redundant. I don't think so.
Yeah, I would not try and mix Lion and Dragon with Mythic Britain.
No.
They just would not work together.
They wouldn't work together. They're different. They're completely different eras as well. Lion and Dragon is
That's
the Rose
true.
War. This is like the 1500s. And Mythic Britain, I think, is like Dark Ages,
Dark
like
Ages.
600 to 900.
Yeah, it's like the
or
Viking
something.
invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different, culturally different. It's just completely different. But the thing is, it doesn't make these things redundant because you're going to have your own take on something. And I am a sucker for British folklore. It's
Hell
so
yeah.
good. Like Kevin Crawford did Wolves of God in that period as well, which is apparently very good. I don't think that there can ever be enough fantasy games set in a mythic Britain setting. Like,
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah. So don't
Another
let
reason
that
why I
stop you.
really want to check out Harn.
Yeah.
sometime in 2025.
Yeah.
Hey guys, decided to introduce some herp newbies to VIA Mythras. Thanks to y'all's recommendations, I need to work on my main and I need to figure out how to encourage immersive herp. Any tips?
Okay.
Nice.
Hey guys, decided to introduce some RPG newbies via Mythras Classic Fantasy. Thanks to y'all's recommendations. Very cool. I need to work on my GMing, and I need to figure out how to encourage immersive roleplay. Any tips?
Well, I would say the fact that they're new, you're in a much better position because you don't have bad habits to try and train out of people.
Yeah.
And I would honestly lean in, if you're using classic fantasy, lean into what the game mechanically tells you to do, incentivizes you to do. Particularly, main thing with classic fantasy is the classes are based on guilds, brotherhoods, institutions,
Yep.
and personal loyalty and personal responsibility, obligations and oaths in order to level up within that guild.
Right.
Focus on that
Yeah.
because you're going to get NPC interaction, you're going to get actual role play and meaningful choices, characters remembering what you did not do. If you're trying to like improve your GMing and want to focus on one thing in particular with that game, I would focus on making the guilds and orders
Yeah. Very
really
important.
pop and come alive.
Yeah.
So have NPCs for these.
And I would also say maybe grab one of the classic fantasy modules because they've done kind of conversions
yeah.
of older D&D modules. And someone on the Mythras Discord told us that basically you can take D&D modules and just swap out the monsters for the Mythras Classic Fantasy versions of those, and they just basically work. Like there's not it doesn't really change the way it I mean, it obviously plays differently because it's a totally different system, but you can just say, okay, there's 3 kobolds in this room. I'll use 3 kobolds from the monster section of Classic Fantasy.
Yeah.
And it basically just works. So that's always a good place to start. But yeah, Nick is absolutely right. Guilds and orders, lean into that. Advancement through role play through those guilds and orders. And
Yeah, if you make that like your foundation, I think
yeah.
you'll be in.
And remind your players that they can use their passions and that their passions mechanically incentivize them.
Yes.
Because if they have a passion, they'll and tell them, okay, if you want to get the bonus for your passion, you have to like get into it, role play it.
Right.
Tell me,
Right.
show me.
This would be Anglo-Saxon, Scots-Irish invasions, fall of Roman Britain, Dark Age with gods, Celtic, Anglo, Arthurian legends, King Vortigern selling his soul to the devil in order to beat Saxony.
Yeah, do that, dude. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is not invalidated by the fact that there are other games that take place in England around that time.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking cool. Do
Also,
that.
very good mining of a historical figure in King Vortigern. We have a Vortigern.
We have a Vortigern as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So don't feel bad about that. And definitely pursue it and do it. We encourage everyone to actually do these things. The splice creature was hot.
if you say so.
Yeah. Did the sound cut off? I hope not.
I don't see anybody else mentioning it, so I don't believe
Sounds
so.
good on my end. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Pretty meaty and of unspecified length. Yeah.
there you go.
You're damn right. An aid worker loading water. Oh man, that reminds me of all the idiots thinking Thanos was right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was not.
He was not, but the thing that fucking pisses me off
Also,
about...
in the comics, he's worse because he's simping for
Yeah, he's simping
death.
for death. Yeah. Way more evil. But
Yeah.
the whole thing is like that I hated about that. I like those movies, by the way. I enjoyed most of the Marvel movies up until the Avengers, until Tony Stark died. And then the movies are over. Who gives a fuck? I've never seen anything after that. But in those movies, it's like Thanos has this like clear, fucked up, evil motivation. He thinks he's right. He thinks he's doing this right thing, and he has the iron will to do it. And the only thing that they have to combat him with that is to just undo it and wish him away. Like they didn't confront the idea that was evil. Like it's implicit that like
I never watched the Endgame movies.
oh, you didn't? You know,
Nope.
so the plot is
I stopped watching after Doctor Strange. The first Doctor Strange. Like, I'm done.
that was
I
like
don't
right
care.
before. Yeah, that was like right before those movies came out. But it's basically Thanos is like an environmentalist essentially. He's like,
Yeah.
there's too much.
There's too many people.
Yeah, too many people. It's causing all
Purple
this suffering.
Bill Gates.
Therefore, I just kill 50% of all life
Yeah.
at random.
Simple
Simple
as.
as. Yeah. But he didn't. But they didn't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
They were just kind of like, well, we're not gonna let you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
You mind telling us why he's wrong?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to have removed. Exactly. The buccal fat. It is weird.
It is
and
weird.
it looks weird.
Yeah. Is weird, looks weirder.
Stormcrow. Hail, my lads. So I've been genuinely curious since I began to write it down, but in your opinion, do you think Mythras is compatible with Middle-earth?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I don't think it's the same genre.
It's not really the same genre. I think it's it's more compatible than D&D is, I would say, because the classes in a lot of the classes in D&D do not have corollaries. There are no wizards. There's only one Gandalf and one Saruman. You could say that, and I know they call Strider, he's a ranger, but he doesn't look like a D&D ranger. Certainly not a post 3.0 ranger. Aragorn does not have an animal companion. He doesn't have my favorite enemy. Barbarian really doesn't have just most of the classes do not have direct analogs because the D&D classes are like crystallizations of multiple different appendix and sources. So even back in the day, I don't think it would have been a great one-to-one comparison.
No, for
certainly
Lord of
not
the Rings,
as the decades have gone on. With Mythras, you don't have classes, and you do have passions, which are a thing
Right.
in Lord of the Rings. It is still a different kind of world, a different kind of genre.
I honestly would say my take is it's not really. Maybe it's closer. It feels too real to me, Mythras.
Yeah.
Because it's like our Shadows over Avalon. Maybe we're just, crazy about how we describe things, but like I don't know. It doesn't feel the same to
I've
me.
also said this in the past, and maybe we could talk about it again at a later date if it's interesting. I'm sort of torn on whether or not it's a good idea to play a role-playing game in Middle-earth.
I
because
agree.
part of me thinks there is something, if not perverse, there's something misguided in sort of touching or interfacing with that world in the manner in which you must do in a role-playing game.
I have, so the basic expert and Trevor Duvall from Me, Myself, and Die do like the One Ring game.
Which I've not played.
I have not played and I have not read it. And that has some narrativist components to it. It's not like a story. It's not a full-on
It's not a story game.
Yeah. But I have heard that is quite good. I don't know though. But I agree with what you
Would
just
it be
said.
more to call Gandalf a magic user?
Well, Gandalf isn't a human.
He's not
He's not a
human, yeah.
mortal. There are no mortal.
He's one of the
wizards.
like the Valar or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
He's a
like
divine being.
He's a divine being who has been given the body
Which
of a man.
I'm sure everybody here knows, but it's like neither Gandalf nor Saruman or Radagast or any of the other wizards taught even the elves magic in the way in which a magic user or a
Right.
wizard or a sorcerer casts magic.
Yeah.
This is not a thing that exists in Middle-earth.
Yeah, so I would say Mythras, no, is not the right choice to play in Middle Earth. I don't know if there is one, but
I would say it's better than, certainly than 5e, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is not a controversial
And
statement.
AD&D is not a good choice either. Like, I think D&D probably is a very bad choice. Mythras, I think, is also not a good choice, but not because Mythras is bad or D&D is bad. It's because the problem you just stated. Maybe, and we cannot attest to it, but people that we like and respect have said that the One Ring is very, very good at that, though. Playing in Middle Earth.
Yeah. Nope.
Come on, Biden.
Come on.
Mr. President.
Quick thought, what game is a good inventory system that seems like they are often clunky, too abstract, or enables players to be walking freighters?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
it's like you either make it too simple with like gear slots or whatever, or you're bean counting with encumbrance. It's one of those things I think that there's not really a way to get around it until you get a bag of holding.
Yeah, because I mean, like, people say like what would be like a Diablo or like a Tarkov, a video game inventory system. Well, why can't we do something like that in role-playing games? Well, it's because there's no UI.
Yeah.
There's not on your character sheet. You can't swap in, swap out.
I can't say take all,
You
drop
can't have
all.
like a grid-based inventory
Yeah.
system. It's always going to be one of the, and it has to be one of the more abstracted.
It has to, or just it's something that's going to take. It's either going to be very abstracted or you're writing down everything on your person. There's not really an in between, I don't think. So I don't know. I think encumbrance is important, but I don't have a suggestion on something that's going to be like, this is the coolest way to do it. You know?
Yeah.
Scroll back.
I think the best answer is just common sense.
Yeah. Oh, you got another one.
I honestly haven't watched or read Loda. I really missed out on the adventures of Sorman, Madagascar, and
Sorry, man, Madagascar and Aragon. Yeah. Well, if you are being at least half serious and you have not read Lord of the Rings, I encourage you to do so. It's very good. It's one of the classics.
That is something I was thinking about this the other week. I'm
You're going to reread
going
it?
to reread.
So am I. I was thinking about the other week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, great
I
minds.
was like, I want to get, because there's also
I haven't read Lord of the Rings since.
I haven't read
like
it since I was in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, I think I read it freshman year in high school.
Yeah, I read it literally right before the first movie came out.
Same.
Like I didn't know they were making the movies, but I was already reading it because I had read The Hobbit like 50 times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
I did know they were
loved The Hobbit.
making it, but I read The Hobbit in middle school. And like, oh, these movies are coming out.
Right.
Seems like a big deal. Let me read it. Because Dane had read Lord of the Rings, and like, let me.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings was very big in my house because everybody read The Hobbit. We watched the Hobbit cartoon a million times.
That's awesome.
Rented the Lord of the Rings animated rotoscoped thing a million times. So I was just interested in it on my own, and I loved it. I read those. Yeah, I read those over the course of 7th and 8th grade, and then I think in 9th grade was when the Fellowship movie came out for me, because I think you might have been a year ahead of me.
That can't be. You're a month older or younger than I am.
I turned 18 the first month of my senior year of high school.
Oh.
I'm only a couple months younger than you, but I think you were probably young for your grade. I was old for mine.
Okay.
Because you graduated, what, 2004?
Yeah.
I was 2005.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
My class cheer didn't rhyme. It was,
no.
We've got Spirit, we've got Pride. We're the class of 2005. And it drove us all insane.
That's so retarded that.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny.
It was.
It's like a troll.
Right.
A proto troll.
Right. And they also wouldn't. So when we had freshman orientation, we all got to vote on what our class color would be, and everybody voted for red. And somehow we got teal. And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And literally everyone was like, "I voted red. You voted red? Yeah." And
It was not your
I
choice.
asked about it. It was not our choice because
Obviously.
they were afraid that red was going to upset the kids from other schools that were in gangs. And these schools were 40 miles away.
Yeah. That's so.
It was
that is
unbelievable.
100% something
And it's
a
also-
school administrator
Your school has
Yes.
would.
What are they? Gay?
Got him.
Yep, got him. It was ridiculous too, because I remember my brother's class colors, and he graduated a couple years before me, was red, and it was fine. Nobody got stabbed.
I don't.
All right, come on, let me scroll. Here we go. I'm still digging into the passions, I believe it's called,
Yep.
in Mythras to understand how it does corruption. I don't know that it
I'm
does
not
corruption.
Sure about corruption.
They said there's corruption rules in the Mythras
In
Companion. I have
Companion.
not read that, so I don't know.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Were you going to do plot hooks and characters like Shucked Oyster? Yes.
Yes.
That is the whole purpose of Shadows over Avalok. It is another adventure of that kind with the web of intrigue, multiple factions, tons of people with conflicting motivations. You have an evil cult, that's pouring gas on fires out there. Lots and lots of stuff going
There's
on.
a lot of things going on. A lot of
going on.
factions, a lot of characters.
Right. So yes, that's going to be basically the basis of our adventures. Anything that, especially that's location based, is going to be
A network
that
of
network of characters and everything like that.
Right.
Because we think that's the best way to make adventures.
Yeah,
Because it is
100%. It is.
We aren't making railroads. We're
we're not doing plots. We're not writing
Right.
novels.
right.
we're not
making,
doing
We're making
railroads.
something for you to go and get tangled up in and make your own.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. The Hollywood hive mind does awful things to young men and women. Yes, it
Very
does.
true.
If you use your body as a conduit for destructive forces, it's going to take its toll.
Also true.
Yeah. So your black magic is kind of like taking one of the coins from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Not
Not
'cause
quite.
Also, the choice of taking the coins.
That's
Like,
simply
it's
greed.
it's
you know?
yeah, it's just greed. I don't remember if they knew at the time that the gold was cursed, but even if they did, it's like, oh yeah, whatever. Or
Yeah.
that's not. I'm committing to metaphysical evil
Yeah.
and destruction of all.
It's because it's more like it's like Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
The cult in Rosemary's Baby. They know what they're doing. They're dedicated
Yes.
to Satan. This
Right.
is not. There's nothing.
They're not operating under false
False
pretenses.
pretenses. They didn't make a mistake. This was not a simple error in moral judgment. These are blasphemers. So you're not rolling on random table to see what bad shit happens to you. Intriguing. You're not. No.
No, not for these guys for sure.
Shout out to the Dark Sun community conversion on Mythras.net from Duke Herb on the Discord, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
That's very cool. Dark Sun has also been adapted to Shadow Dark with Shadow Sun by Chubby Funster,
That's
who
true.
may or may not be in the chat. I haven't seen him yet. Should I elaborate on the Braunstein idea I had? Don't know. Do I just watch and study Braunstein play and read the old Arneson and Co. books? I think you should go for it, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
If you have an idea, go for it.
I think this was the vampire Braunstein that was going to be in like a hospital overnight, and played, I think, literally 1-to-1 time, not simply downtime, but like we're starting at
however
night,
long the session is how
and
long.
it goes until dawn until.
That's a cool
we play
idea.
throughout the night. That is a very cool.
If
idea.
you can-
if this is the idea that I'm thinking of, then yes, that's a very cool idea, and you should do that. And I think there are some BroSR people who are trying to do a Vampire the Masquerade Braunstein. So just go put that on Twitter, #BroSR, and they'll probably
See it.
They'll probably see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Buccal fat removal and Ozempic have been a disaster for the human race.
indeed.
Yeah, but Ozempic's a weird one because it's like, yeah, it turns you into this. You lose weight so quickly. If you're really, really fat, you got the hanging
Skin,
giblets,
yeah.
and skin, and everything like that. And it probably has some sort of crazy long-term side effects that will never. That is going to be lawsuit after lawsuit later on.
Turns your innards to fiberglass.
But at the same time, you know what the worst possible thing that you can do for your health is?
To be fat.
Fat.
Yeah.
To be morbidly obese
Yeah.
is a death sentence. It's worse than smoking by a lot.
yeah.
I remember when Hollywood actresses became drawn and haggard looking by using heroin as God intended. Yeah. Had a massive crush on Christina Ricci when I was a kid. Everyone did. Does anyone have a time frame on DE to ship out Mythras? Is each order print on demand? DE. I believe each order is print on demand. That's a good question. How long did that take from the time they reached out to us?
I don't remember.
It's
now.
a couple of weeks. It's not as long as Drive-Thru RPG.
Yeah.
I assure you that if you go through Lulu. You can sneak up on Taylor Joy by approaching her head on. The alien slanted eyes is the deep psychological trope. Yeah. Uncanny Valley territory. Regarding Mythras at large, how does it handle mythological evil? Is it D&D or how you guys conceptualize evil? Mythras is a toolkit. It's it has an implied setting, but it is meant to be the GM presents their own world with using the systems of Mythras.
Yeah.
And there are settings within Mythras. A lot of historical settings and there's Vancian games like they did Lioness. Like there's a bunch of different stuff there. So it's largely up to you. There's nothing baked in Mythras that's like, this is an evil god, or like there are demons and there are angels or anything along those lines. Mixed with boner magic, which is why our video on Mythras initially is called Creative People Must Play Mythras.
Yes.
Because it's a very, very good baseline for creative people to work from. Anya Taylor-Joy was out before she created her phylactery. Black Lodge Games, if you haven't seen Roland Bones' video on the magic system for his in-progress game, which I believe is called Skeleton, he's got a great take on the good and evil sides of magic. I have not seen that. Yeah, I will have to check that out. What time is it? 9:21. Okay, we got a couple more minutes before we get to the topic of the video. We like talking to you guys, sympathizers, simps. Do y'all know yet what the at-cost printing for the hardcovers is going to be of both Zahak and the Oyster? So the Oyster is the at-cost print on that is $11 or so. It's less than 12. It's a little over 11. I think it's like $6.87 for the soft cover. And that's because it's a very meaty book. It's 270 something pages physically. Cults.
We won't know until
I won't know until we have
a finalized page count.
Finalized page count. I would say you can look up Drive-Thru cost calculator, choose hardcover, large book, black and white, and put in 100 pages, and that'll give you a ballpark. A ballpark of what it's going to be. It's not going to be like $15, $20, something like that, though.
Yeah.
Some of the players really do see the magic equivalent of the Geneva Convention and turn it into a checklist.
Oh, God.
More like Geneva suggestions. Slime. Around here they have a saying, no compromises, no apologies. A bit different purpose, I think.
Do you guys prefer CP 2020 or Red? 2020's the GOAT.
What was this?
Let me go find this.
Oh.
I always liked the themes of the Nephandian dark, depraved, and deranged. Could even handle such malicious herb.
Oh man, that was a good one, Biden. Well, let's start with Matthew Pickard, who got right in before you. Do you guys prefer Cyberpunk 2020 or Red? 2020 is the GOAT. 2020 is the GOAT.
2020 is the GOAT.
Yeah.
I prefer 2020. I do.
Net running rules.
The net running rules are more streamlined in Red. Also, the life paths in Red. They've added some additional nuance.
Yeah.
To each of the different careers, origins. So when we did Blood and Sunshine, it was 2020 rules with.
It was mostly the 2020 life path, and then the extra steps.
That's right. It was the extra steps because it's so cool. It's like what, especially for your character, the corpo. Of like, what's your relationship with your boss? What type of what size megacorp are you working in? What industry are they in?
Is it? Yeah. I was in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like the themes of
the Nephandi
and Mage the Ascension, Dark, Depraved, and Deranged. I wonder if the D&D community could even handle such malicious RP. Some of them could. Not probably the normal people now.
Yeah.
Normal. That's not what I'm saying. They're not normal. The non-normal people.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Red came off as super generic.
I think it gets a bad rap. I will say I don't like the glossy pages in Red. I hate that.
Red is the intro/small update book to 2020. Old school 90s cyberpunk, yeah.
It's so cool.
Cities Without Number is another alternative to cyberpunk that's worth checking out. Yeah, Kevin Crawford. Yeah. You guys want to see some see 4 spells? Here we go.
I don't think Onyx Path could even handle Nefandi.
Yeah.
Probably.
Onyx Path are the Nefandi.
Cyberpunk I made was a brain dancer pharmacist who made designer drugs. That's awesome, dude.
Nice.
I don't like being a good driver being linked to whether you're a nomad or not. That's stupid. That is stupid. Yeah, I agree. All right, man. D&D has dipped way too much into romantasy due to its player base. That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been reading the 2024 DMG with more thorough eyes. It's very dumb. It's like a book of suggestions.
Yeah.
It's a book of suggestions and YouTube advice with some rules sprinkled throughout it. It's very bad. Pondsmith also did a Bubblegum Crisis RPG book using 2020 rules and Fusion. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Cool. Well, let me flip over here to screen share. There we go.
There we go.
All right, guys. It's time for the topic.
Yes.
This is Diabolism. And now I need to move this out of the way. No, I just click here. There we go. This is right now, like we said, we're curating this to 4 spells for you guys right now. If you would like more, then you're gonna have to go check out our locals. And as this list expands to the full 41, 250 plus spells, you will be getting consistent updates on that.
Oh yeah.
And this is also look a little bit.
Oh,
why
this
the
is not,
fuck is this not? It's not scrolling. What the fuck?
It should.
Why is this not? Hold on. Maybe I have to refresh this. You piece of garbage. You fucking piece of garbage. Why is this not? I hate you. I hate you, computer. This is frozen. Are we? We're not frozen.
The camera's moving.
God damn
This
it.
was
Hold on. Let me
have it
exit
screen
this.
share a different window.
Yeah, let me reopen this. The fuck, man. There we go. All right.
There it is. You were just on it.
Just on it. And of course now, it's not the right size.
Is all fucked up.
Jesus, I hate this. What the fuck? This is so stupid. The window is so big and the content is so small. All right, let's give this a shot. There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Perfect.
Like we were saying before the computer tried to ruin the stream, this is a taste, a small look, a curated list. We got 13 of these ready for the locals, but we only got 4 of them here for you guys because we got to take care of our locals guys first.
That's right.
This is also, so there will be some font changes and whatnot, but this is also going to be, and I don't know why that's appearing as pink on OBS.
It's just the monitor or the TV coloration.
TV color. This is a look a bit at how the layout is going to look for Cults of Zahak as well.
Yeah.
It's very clean, very minimalist. There'll be a couple of changes, but this is a look at how the text itself is going to be laid out.
Right. There's no images in here yet. But
Right. There's no art. This headline will change as well, but
Yeah.
this is Diabolism.
Yeah.
So what is Diabolism? And who is blowing up my phone right now? Yep.
Zach doesn't want his secrets revealed, the jerk.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. This is true. Well, he does want them
actually, he
revealed.
does.
Only in his way and in his time,
Right.
though. So Diabolism is the black magic of Zahak. It's a true inversion of the spiritual order and a mockery of the power that mankind wields in the name of the saints and creators. Diabolism is not a skill that can be learned through pure study alone, as it is a dark gift granted by Zahak to those who have heard his whispers and written their name in his black book. To practice this sorcery requires sacrificing a portion of your soul, permanently carving away a part of your humanity. For those who accept the dark whisper, this is a permanent choice. Black magic in the lower orders of the cult may still be capable, black magicians may still be capable of drawing upon magics inherent in the nature of mankind or even engaging in sorcery, but the power of the saints and the creators are permanently barred from them. No other deity other than Zahak will ever heed their call or grant miracles to them, as Diabolism is an affront to their very nature.
Yes. Diabolism, it's not like wizardry or sorcery.
No.
It's not something you read. Even if you got the Necronomicon or
Right.
the Liber Mortis or,
Right.
it's not something you can stumble on. It's
something that has to be imparted to you personally by Zahak.
Yeah, it's received through revelation.
Through revelation, exactly. And then you can learn more of these things from
Right.
other cultists.
Yeah,
but
but you
the
have
thing
to
is,
be-
it is like
yeah.
it can also only be through revelation to you. It's like,
Correct.
because cults spring from a single person, and
That's
then
correct.
if they survive, they grow.
Right.
And so you can learn more rituals faster if you're part of an existing cult, and get these powers.
Yeah.
And it's dependent on your Diabolism skill. So basically, the way that the Diabolism skill works, all of this stuff is going to be linked to passions in one form or another, most of the time. But whatever the passion was, that basically gets inverted. Something that you love, cherish, you're loyal to, you have some idea or ideal. In some dark moment, when you say, to hell with it all, and Zahak reaches out to you, and you accept him, that passion rating is the basis of your Diabolism skill.
Yeah, it's like an even darker. Who's who's the Gerald Tarrant?
Yeah, from
What's like the Cold Fire?
Cold Fire trilogy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like an even darker, more knowingly and explicit evil. Again,
because
you
even
have
Gerald
been,
Tarrant, you could justify it. I
Right.
saved. Yeah.
which is what he was. I'm doing the larger sacrifice.
Right.
Whatever. That's not what.
Shut
That's not
up.
what this is.
That's not what this is. Yeah.
You have been on a dark path,
Right.
likely for a long time already. That nihilism, that hatred or despair towards life and towards the world has been festering to such
Yeah.
a point where Zahak, the devil, reaches out to you and you
Yeah.
alone, and lays his cards more or less on
Yeah.
the table. Do you accept or do you not? And if you do, you take something, whatever it is, a vestige of something that you did care about, represented by some kind of passion, and that becomes twisted, inverted, corrupted,
Right.
destroyed after a fashion, and that hatred for existence, for being itself, is the wellspring, if you can even call it that.
I dig this. It's similar to something I'm doing in my game,
Nice.
springing from my Christian perception of magic. The good order is a twisted perversion.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That's what this is. Yeah, we're drawing a lot on the Christian mythos in the tradition of like Lord of the Rings and that style of
yeah,
thing.
it's not
That
a direct
notions of-
analog or
yeah, but that
allegory.
notion of good and evil.
Yeah.
And good and evil being the undermining, the twisting, the trying to do this. And built into this, there's a little bit of a contradiction here because Zahak is all about the nihilism, the anti-life thing, the denial of passions, the inversions of those things, the creation of indolence, and the sapping of the life force, because this is a very vitalist world, and so it's, you know, anything that makes you like sink down is evil, is bad. But even Zahak, it's like
because you still have to exist in the world.
Yeah,
you can't be nothing yet.
right to do his magic. It's like it's based on passions and based on inverting passions. It's like he has this internal contradiction to him.
He'll take you to the abyss,
Right.
to oblivion eventually, but he's going to warp everything that you are.
Right.
And you're going to agree to it if you're
You're going to warp you as well.
you are
it's
going
like,
to do
it's
it.
not just him. It's hand in hand with him.
Yeah.
But the way that the literal mechanics of this works is based on the magic system in classic fantasy, classic fantasy imperative, through Mythras. Let's see what we got here.
I like the idea that evil requires intent and conviction rather than some oopsie daisy. This
Yep.
is good stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's not an accident. Isn't evil. It's just a tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. That 100%. We want good and evil, and for you to be able to play heroes to defeat these fucked up people. But the way that a lot of the mechanics are working for this is going to be very, very similar, if not identical in some cases, to the way that classic fantasy's magic works. There's no, you know, the spheres and the divine versus arcane, like that's out. That's not a part
that's
of this.
not a dichotomy here.
Yeah, you're not memorizing spells in like a Vancian sense, but the notions of intensity and magnitude function exactly the same in this. It's not written here. We will be adding that stuff, but that's material that will be taken from the orc stuff. It's not our original material. Intensity and magnitude are handled the same way. The cost of how many Diabolism points it takes to cast a spell is going to be similar as well. So it's like it could be 1 or 1 point per intensity that you have on the spell, or it could be 3 and then 1 plus 1 intensity, or 3 plus 3. You know, that sort of a thing. Really potent spells may even make you may need to use an experience roll, an unused experience roll added to it as well, for the super potent stuff.
Right.
So it's gonna operate on those kind of principles. Where this comes from, you have this Diabolism skill. So say we have a big, example here of basically someone giving.
This is like a magic skill, which is how everything is handled
works in Mythras.
in Mythras and in classic fantasy as well.
Right.
Like
So
folk magic is its own skill.
The strength of this passion that gets twisted, if it's really strong, you're gonna have a very high degree of ability to use this magic.
Yes.
And it's gonna make the magnitude of your spells higher. So say if I had a 90%, my spells, it's a 9 magnitude,
Yeah.
And that means I can go up to 9 intensity, spending points on these things. Your power, though, this is something where it is different, and this is where it's eating away at your soul.
Yeah.
Traditionally, your magic points are equal to your power score.
Yeah, power score is like a character. It's an attribute.
Characteristic, like your charisma, your constitution. It's a measure of your kind of spiritual energy, your magic energy, your potency in that mythical sense. And so magic points in this game, same thing. Magic points equals power. But once you start getting Diabolism points, these are the things when you've accepted Zahak and you become an initiate to the cult, it eats away at your magic points. You get Diabolism points at the expense of magic points. So the way it works, and this may change as well, because I don't really think there's going to be lay members. There could be people who are deceived into this, or perhaps cajoled and enslaved, but
they're not part of the inner mysteries, which is why there's none.
Why there's none here. There's no cost. But once you're an initiate, once you accept the Dark Whisper, 1/4 of your power is now dedicated. That is Diabolism points. So if I had 12 power, I now have 9 magic points and 3 Diabolism points.
Yeah.
When I advance in the cult, it's going to be 6 power or 6 magic points, 6 Diabolism points. When I'm a priest, 3/4 of that, all the way up until if you become a high priest in the Cults of Zahak, 100% of your magic points are now Diabolism points. You cannot use any other magic at all. You can only do the Dark Miracles of Zahak.
Diabolism spells and rituals can only be cast with Diabolism points.
Right.
All the other different magic systems that exist in Mythras core, theism, sorcery, folk magic, mysticism, those all take
magic
points.
Except that theism's
not
a
theism.
little different.
And
You have-
Diabolism kind of works just like this is the black magic of the devil. Mechanically, this is kind of like an inversion
Right.
of how theism works. Theism being the divine magic in the Mythras core book. With theism, you have devotion points, which are
Right.
in addition to
Right.
your existing magic points. Those don't change.
Right.
That increases with your rank within temple structure, within a cult. With Zahakian worship, it's at the expense of.
Right.
You're getting more powerful in black magic.
Yeah,
In being
but you're becoming
more evil.
and becoming
But
less
you're becoming
human.
less
Yeah.
human.
And this is permanent. There's no restoring your magic points. You can't get out of the cult. You can't
Yeah,
undo
there is
it.
no there's no going back once
Right.
you sign your name in the book.
Right. So we have, we will be explaining magnitude and intensity, and we'll have an outline of all the,
Yeah.
keywords and everything like that, just like the imperative, but we want to have this all in one place.
Yeah. But we have
But we have four
four
spells
spells.
that we want to go through with you guys. The first one, this is a low-level spell called Contortionism. And this was inspired, we were talking about different...
We were talking about something else.
we had one power that we wanted to do that we have thrown in the garbage.
Yeah.
But it has spawned two other spells that are way
Yeah,
better
yeah,
and
yeah.
way cooler. This is one of them. But we were thinking, and I got reminded, something Nick said reminded me of the Contortionist from the episode Squeeze of the X-Files. The
Yeah.
guy who can fit through any little space.
Pipes, and he
Yeah.
has that nest of newspapers.
Yeah,
and
and bile.
Yeah.
And liver juice.
he's lived like forever. He sleeps for
He's very old. He's like 100 years old,
Yeah.
something like that. But this allows you to do that, but even like more. Like you could probably twist your head around
Yeah.
if you needed to. All sorts of stuff. This costs 1 Diabolism point in the last 10 minutes. It is instantly cast. But the Diabolist is able to contort their body, unnaturally dislocate joints, and fit into places that a normal person cannot. The Black Magician is able to pass through any confined space that is not smaller than their skull. This makes it incredibly difficult to restrain, bind, or even hang to death a cultist with this power. Legends abound of dark sorcerers escaping the hangman's noose by simply slipping out of it at the moment before their neck breaks. If used to escape restraints, the Black Magician rolls their Diabolism skill. A success allows the Diabolist to escape any mundane restraint as their joints pop and they slither free. We got a super chat here.
So Zach worship hollows out the best parts of your soul as a shortcut to power.
Yes.
But truth is leads to true magical might appropriate.
but
But true
true
theism.
leads to true magical might. So I wouldn't say it's not that this is a shortcut to power. Obviously, there is power
Yeah.
in
And these are pretty potent spells,
these are
a lot of them.
pretty potent, and we also have rituals which are not included here in the
they're like
preview.
Plagues of Egypt level
Yeah,
things.
these are like nation destroying.
Yeah.
Or at least threatening to do that. This is no, I hate living,
Yeah.
and I hate that other people live in this reality
Right.
as well. Everything I see, all the myriad of things and creatures and phenomenon in the world is somehow ugly and abominable.
Yeah.
If you almost appendix N appreciators, if you I forget that the whatever the first short story in the Dying Earth, what was her name? Sane?
I'm illiterate. I don't know.
She was a creation, a vat creation, but something went wrong, and all she saw was was in this beautiful realm, this eternal realm, all she could see was ugliness, and she could only feel
So communism
Hatred.
ism.
Yeah,
it is evil.
It
but
is evil,
I would
yeah.
say this is
different.
more evil.
this is more evil, and it's not.
There's not a collectivism.
Yeah, there's not.
Aspect.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, you're right. There's not really a collectivism aspect to it.
It's not
this
like
is not
it
collectivism
doesn't
versus
exist on the
individualism.
political spectrum.
Yeah.
Zahakian worship.
Yeah, it's really it's more
We're not
life
cons-
life
yeah.
versus anti-life.
Yeah, we're not interested in good governance or right governance, even misunderstood. I want to burn it all
Every
down.
down. Yeah, I want to burn it
Yeah.
all down. Yeah.
But to continue,
Yeah, but
contortionism.
another great example of how contortionism could look, and this is something we should describe a little bit better. The movie Death Becomes Her. It's got Meryl Streep, and
Oh,
Goldie
yeah.
Hawn, where
Yeah.
like her head is like backwards, and
Yeah.
that's what contortionism
I haven't seen that
is.
movie since I was a kid.
Yeah, neither have I. But
Yeah.
that's the
a good
sort of
point.
thing where it's literally like like limbs bending in ways they shouldn't, twisting and being loose and things like that, and being able to slip through spaces and escape bindings, and it's gross.
Yeah.
Some Diabolists use this power to gain entry to guarded locations through sewers, pipes, and crawl spaces, usually only accessible to vermin.
Yeah. And this is of particular interest and utility because once you cross this threshold and you are a Diabolist, you want to extend and maximize the suffering of others.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is like Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah.
This is like being the devil on someone else's shoulder. Even if they don't know you're there. I
Right.
move through the tribe, the clan, the village, the city, and where I see goodness, I want to either minimize that or invert that completely. And so you have to prey on people spiritually or emotionally, and that requires you to go places where you don't belong. And also, if you are found out as this inhuman, abominable, living blasphemy, people will rightfully want to
Kill you.
burn you at the stake,
Right.
chop your head off, hang you, whatever
Right.
the case may be. And so,
and you're real slippery though if you've got
Yes.
this spell.
right.
Now there's the next one, and again these costs and casting times and things like that, these are going to get tweaked, and some of them were missing certain parameters that haven't been added. That's neither here nor there. The meat, it's the meat that you want.
Yeah, it's the thematics.
Die for me. This is a good one. The Diabolist marks a victim with a fiery brand. The next time the Black Magician is in combat, all wounds they suffer are experienced by the branded target. So this is a little like transfer wound,
But
worse.
but worse because it lasts
a
forever
long
until
time,
that person
dies.
dies.
We'll finish this. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll finish reading it. All wounds they suffer are experienced by the branded target. Blows that would kill do not leave a mark on the Diabolist, giving them an air of invincibility. The target, usually very far away and unaware of the true nature of the spell inflicted upon them, experiences the grievous wounds and shrieks in pain as bones break and blood flows. The Black Magician must brand their target with a hot skewer, poker, or branding iron. While the flesh sears, the magician must make an opposed roll of his Diabolism skill versus the willpower of his target. If the target, this should be endurance, now that I think of it. If the target fails to resist, all wounds that the Black Magician would otherwise suffer during their next combat encounter are applied to the target instead. So this is, duration special. So this is not, it is continuous.
Hours, days,
Yeah, it's not hours, it's not days. It is until the affected target, the vessel that's going to receive these wounds, until they die.
You've made this like thaumaturgical connection
Yeah.
with someone else. Whether they knew what was happening, and they probably don't.
Probably don't.
Because probably no one would be willing to do this.
Right.
They'd be right.
When the Black Magician is struck in combat, their armor still provides protection to the victim that receives their damage. The target's armor does not provide protection from the damage that is transferred to them. If the affected target of Die For Me suffers a major wound, they die, and the Black Magician is no longer protected from any future wounds they suffer. If the target dies in any other circumstance, even unbeknownst to the Black Magician, the Diabolist does not gain the expected protection of the spell. There must be a living vessel to receive the wounds. The protection granted by this dark magic lasts for one combat encounter, after which the target is released from its power. So this is something you could do this, brand someone, and for months, years, you're not in combat, this person is not affected, and then you begin taking wounds, and that person takes them for you. Now, you could escape, you could get beat up a bit, and then you escape that combat encounter. That person receives the damage. They get beat up. They're not dead. The spell's over, though.
Right.
It's one combat encounter. You are protected by this.
But again, the idea is I want to be undermining from within
Right.
the community. If I'm in a combat, it's highly likely that either things have not gone
my
well
way.
for me,
Yeah.
or this is some kind of Hail Mary, really significant battle in which
Yeah.
I may be in tremendous danger.
Right. This next one's fucking awesome. This is Welcome the Stranger. Zahak's children needn't resort to crass violence to find lodging. As the Diabolist invites Zahak into his soul, the unwary and the naive invite the Black Magician into their home. The Diabolist must convince someone to invite him into their home. If he passes through their doorway with their consent and invitation, the Black Magician makes an opposed roll of his Diabolism skill versus the willpower of the target. If the target fails to resist, the Diabolist may use this home as he pleases for a number of days equal to the intensity of the spell. While the spell is in effect, the target and all members of the household are oblivious to his comings and goings. The Diabolist does not become invisible, but the inhabitants of the home ignore his presence as he fades into the background of their minds. If they make a meal, they set a place at the table for him. If they're cleaning their laundry, they will clean his. If questioned about his presence by outsiders, they will rationalize him as an old family friend. The effect is only broken if the Diabolist engages in violence in the home or does a gross display of supernatural power. At this point, the obfuscation is shattered and the family will realize the snake in their midst. The spell cannot be used again in this household. When the Black Magician finally leaves and the duration of this spell expires, the inhabitants of the home will not remember his presence. They will, however, be plagued with dreams and half-memories of a nameless presence within their home. When they think of him, they will begin to sweat, their hearts pound, and they will know the truth that someone invaded their home. They will never feel safe again. If an invitation is not extended to the magician, this spell cannot be cast. If the spell fails, the target is not alerted to the attempted invasion of their home, but the spell cannot be used on this household ever again. If the spell succeeds, the Black Magician may cast the spell over the same household again at a difficulty grade of easy on all subsequent castings. Do not let the devil inside your home.
Yeah, this is a really creepy, really horrific spell. It's like you've let a murderer into your home under false pretenses, of course, but
and you're
it's like
living with him.
And it's worse than just a murderer. This is a monster. And then when he leaves, you have these half-recollected memories or impressions, like waking up from sleep paralysis. The Hat Man is there, or the Slender Man, this dark figure, like looming from your closet or
like the
from
integrity,
the basement.
The integrity and the sanctity of your home has been
and you know, you don't know what happened, but you have that feeling, and everyone in the household
that you've been violated.
You've been violated. You are not safe.
You're not safe.
Yeah.
And it's true because you're not.
It's-
Because
yeah.
this guy might come back.
He might come back.
and-
He might actually be there right
yeah,
now.
and it'll be easier for him to get in this time.
Yeah, or it's like-
because you already let him in.
Who was the character from Jessica Jones? I was mentioning this.
The Daniel Tennant character.
Yeah, I forget what
I
his name is.
can't remember his name. Yeah,
His power works slightly differently because I think he was dominating them.
yeah
I
he
believe.
just tells people to do things and they do it.
But there's the scene where they're just going about their business and he's moving through the kitchen. The kids
Yeah.
are playing, they're watching TV, doing homework or whatever, and they don't see him. And this is a sociopath, a superpowered sociopath, and they have no idea. They don't
Right.
they don't see him.
He's not
literally
invisible.
invisible.
Yeah.
Which makes it creepier.
Creepier.
It's just
You're just ignoring him.
yeah.
You're ignoring the evil in your house.
And it's only after I've left. I don't remember you, but the hairs on the back of my neck, I wake up in a cold sweat every night.
right.
Something's out there.
Right.
Something was here.
And so this allows them to move around throughout society and
Yes.
get away with shit.
Yeah.
Perverse hunger. Is this the third one that we had? One oh yeah. Contortionism. Yeah. Okay, so this will be the last one that we're going to share with you guys. And then we'll check out the comments to see what you guys think. Perverse hunger. This was one that Nick came up with. Is so good. Casting time is 10 minutes. This is sort of a ritual. This is not a ritual magic spell like the Plagues of Egypt type of thing, but it's pretty fucked up.
Right.
You do it in a radius of 20 feet, costs just 1 Diabolism point, and the duration is permanent. The Black Magician warps and perverts the nature of herd beasts. Their hunger turns to raw flesh and blood. Neither leaf nor root can sustain them any longer, and the spirit of the predator takes hold of their mind. Oh, we got some super chats coming in.
Listen to the Dark Somnium's reading of Boriska. Think the lads would like it. Plenty of dark stuff.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't
we'll
even
check it
know
out.
what that is.
I tried not to let the devil into my home, but everyone was like, that's no way to treat your mother. And now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy.
That's rough, man.
Oh man, should have been a mother-in-law. Neither leaf nor root can sustain them any longer, and the spirit of the predator takes hold of their mind. The pangs of hunger in their belly is unending. Once docile and domesticated, these animals ravage the land as they slip into a ravenous madness. Only their destruction can end their hunger. The Diabolist must fill a bowl with their own blood and use a sprig of mistletoe to splash and anoint the herd of beasts while channeling their diabolic power into them. All domestic herbivores are vulnerable to this dark power. The Dark Magician stands in the center of a small herd, 20-foot radius around the magician, and splashes their blood over the animals. The Diabolist must succeed on a Diabolism skill roll for the beasts to be affected. Affected creatures retain all natural attacks, example, horse may trample with hooves, and gain a bite in their combat style that inflicts 1d8 damage. Additionally, they gain the creature attributes Blood Sense and Frenzy. The Diabolist will never become the target of the animal's murderous fixation, but he retains no control over the minds and cannot direct their behavior.
Yeah. This is
super fucked up because
yeah.
Imagine a predatory horse.
Yeah. Or just imagine the
A
scene.
carnivorous horse.
A carnivorous horse or
that is like on meth and can smell your blood.
yes. Or again, it's like
A herd of sheep.
a herd of sheep, a black sorcerer. Who knows why he did what he did? Why did he
Right.
choose you? Why now? But that scene, the farmer, it's the crack of dawn, or the shepherd. He goes into the pen, and half of the sheep are covered in blood and are devouring. They don't get wolf teeth.
No,
They have
just
sheep
sheep teeth
sheep molar teeth
that are but this
that are
tremendous
devouring.
bite. Yeah.
Some ewes and lambs maybe still half alive, and they're devouring the raw remains of the other sheep,
Right.
and they look to you, and they're bleeding and they're maddened with this diabolic rabies. Or again, yeah, like a stable horses. Let's say you have a huge herd of cattle, or of sheep that are outside of this pen. What does that do to a community?
Yeah.
Right. What horrific curse? Just because this spell is written down does not mean that people in the world have encyclopedic knowledge of exactly why and how these things are happening. Oh my God, what did we do? Is this a disease? Is this a curse from the gods? Who knows what this is? But obviously what you do is you cull the entire herd.
Yeah.
You have to. Who knows what actually happened here and what is affected? And what does that do? What psychic wounds, what fear and uncertainty and mistrust does that sow in the community? And also...
Need to make a spell where the Diabolist uses babes as mortar to retain their youth like in the witch. Children disappearing hooked for her.
Well, we have a recover youth
spell. That's really cool.
Yeah, but you'll have to stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. That one is also not ready. It's not in the locals yet, but it's coming soon.
But we have the idea, and it's
so
awesome.
good. Yeah, it's so fucking good.
But yeah, and also you don't have food or wool or milk if you're getting milk from sheep or cows.
It's devastating and traumatic to a community
on like multiple
discord
levels
and fear, and can also, I mean, it can be used to get rid of. There's all sorts of things that you can use this for, like getting rid of evidence. You know, it's like again, you don't control them. They're not hostile to the caster. To you don't control them. But this is like unleashing this fucked up plague basically on a small area.
Right.
And you could go and do this to multiple herds and things like this. And like that's enough to catastrophically fuck up an entire area.
And again, from the Zahakian point of view, it's not about I want to be Sauron. I want to be the Dark Lord of this place. I'm going to take control. The point is random, unprovoked cruelty and suffering. Because, from their perspective, that's good in and of itself.
Right.
And I'm fraying the threads of the social fabric.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and the thing is the cultists, these are not short-sighted people. Like this is not.
Yes.
We were talking about this as well. It's like the cultists, this is not your standard like, aha, yes, well, I want to be the high priest, so now I'm going to kill you, stab you in the back. Like that's not it. Like these people are they cooperate with one another, and they're oftentimes quite smart, and they have long-term plans that they try to set in motion, because as you'll see when we show the ritual magic, and we can tell you how the ritual magic is basically going to work, so to speak. It's many steps need to fall in place. A lot of things have to go the cult's way to get to the point where they can do these really horrific,
but if they do that, these are
crimes.
Like biblical calamities.
Yeah, biblical calamities. And the way in which they do that, so you learn spells by rank in the cult, but nobody can become a high priest, a rank 5 cultist, unless they have created an idol, when they have created a golem. Because to learn these crazier spells, like the biblical level plague ones, you need this direct conduit of Zahak's energy.
Right.
You have to commune with the golem, and the golem teaches you and gives you these unlocks these powers within you. And by the time that you have finally done that, when you create the golem, you are a rank 5 within the cult.
Right.
And that is when you begin to, it imparts these things to you over time. And of course there's experience costs to that and whatnot. But in order to do one of the big rituals is you need to find a holy site, and you need to desecrate that site, which is, again, going to be a spell, desecrating the holy site. So holy sites are very well protected in this game, because people know what Zahak wants to do to the holy sites. Right. And so you've got
and there is also objective divine power.
Divine
and we
power.
actually believe in this
Yes,
world.
exactly. And so like this is not easy. You have to either find a way to somehow infiltrate this, which you are not going to be allowed to do because you have to be a badass practicing high level cult member of the saints who can provably do the miracles of the saints to
Right.
be a protector of these places.
Of course.
So it's going to be very hard to undermine. A lot of times you may have to do a direct assault against that, but again, you're fighting like the tip-top badasses in this case.
Yes.
To be able to desecrate the holy site, which is the first step. Once you desecrate the holy site and you've deconsecrated this land, then you can unleash these biblical style plagues. But you need to survive long enough, gain enough power to successfully create a golem. Then you have to overpower some holy site.
Right.
And then you can do this. So there's a lot of steps that go into this. And it's
even
very difficult.
In that goal, that puts over the long-term goals because maybe you do have enough power to do some sort of direct assault. Or what's more likely, we're going to play the long game and we are going to poison the ears and the minds and we're going to unravel the social cohesion. We're going to sow discord, fear, mistrust,
which is
and
also
chaos.
Potentially going to open up new avenues of Zahak reaching out to people who are in despair. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And when the whole culture, when the whole people are so weakened and ununified, then like a wounded wildebeest,
then we can drop
we're
the
going
nukes.
to go in. It's still holy ground. It's still sanctified ground. Now this is the killing blow, and we unleash a true blasphemy. And we also plague the whole area, or doom an entire lineage. We sever entire bloodlines.
Yeah. We destroy all loyalties to the crown.
Yes.
There's really, really crazy stuff. So these are not short-sighted people who are going to twirl their mustache. These are people who are going to coordinate and stay hidden and move when when they think they have the upper hand and can get away with it and stay hidden.
Which also means that a person or people in these cults can operate and have changing or multiple different goals at different levels of complexity for a very long campaign. And it could be a very long time before you ever, if you ever uncover them.
And the thing is, they're not willing to just throw themselves into harm's way and into death because this is all they got. Their life is done. They are obliterate. Like their soul is nothing when they die.
Right.
This is their only chance. And so there's also, like someone said, you have to have the life extending thing. It's like, that's in there. That's a part of this.
Oh yeah.
Like they are always looking for ways to live longer, to cheat fate and to cheat death. And that's what a lot of these powers are kind of based on. It's either lies and deception or cheating somehow. Like there's a lot. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna get rid of this.
Let's see what people
see what we got going on
saying
here. There we go. And bring back up the chat.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go, I think, probably to the bottom here and see what people have been saying. We'll say something about Steven Seagal. Zahak won't give a goth GF. He just wants you to lose all hope. The goth GF is too aspirational. True.
Yeah.
Let me find a recent super chat so we know. This is the shortcut to power one. Yeah, okay. All right, got to do some gaming with the boys. Been fun hanging out with y'all for a bit. I'll have to make sure to join next week too. Nice.
Take it easy, man.
Die For Me is already imagining scenes in Warlock of Charles Dance holding victims hostage and referring harm, like Mandela effect of a Mandela effect. I've actually never
haven't seen Warlock since the 90s.
I do love Charles Dance though. Yeah, it's not communism. This is evil on like a more metaphysical thing. It's not. This is not a political philosophy.
Right.
Does Zahak have a spell where I can shoot white lasers from my eyes that can bend at right angles and something like that?
He's not dark side.
No, he's not dark side. Yeah. Grudge levels of creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's creepier stuff in this as well. Kind of want to see dark side. Seems like his eye beams and aspirations would fit in this.
Well, he is after the anti-life equation. That is true.
Can contortionism be used to higher effect, like narrowing the flesh off bones to make claws? So I would say no. Because this is one of the lower level powers, and we were talking about this. We have some abilities that are like combat abilities, but they're not the sort of thing where like I move super fast, I get claws and I kill you. It's really like we talked about I think last week we talked about the hemorrhage spell, which I guess we're getting thumbs up from the computer. We talked about this hemorrhage spell where you can cause someone basically to bleed out from like their eyes and their mouth and everything like that. It's things like that. There's other ways. There are things that are very useful in combat, but they're not going to be like I turn into a monster and I tear you limb from limb. It's much more.
Here's
it's more
an evil lightning bolt, an evil magic missile. It's not. That's not sort of like the milieu, and that's also not generally their behavior. Because one, especially at lower ranks in the cult, you can use sorcery, where you can have do these rack or these other things, and also in Mythras, there's no. You can. There's nothing stopping you from using a great axe or something, or being a powerful.
You can be
warrior.
a powerful person in combat, and like.
Yeah, you can be decked out in full plate, right, wielding a massive executioner's axe, and be using these,
right. And so all of this magic, because we had a couple of ideas that were like creepy and cool, like the one that we like are just like, okay, this one there's no saving it, there's just going in the garbage, was. Like, if you've seen Bram Stoker's Dracula or read the book, there's the sequence where Dracula is like crawling across the wall of his castle, and it's like it's really cool.
It's really cool, and it's really
creepy. But we were like, this doesn't. We're like, what's the thematic thing here that fits in with like Zahak's
like
philosophy, the worldview and the
ethos.
philosophy, and it's like. We were like, okay, we can't do anything like that, because I mean that's a D&D spell as well. There's spider walk or whatever it is. I think it's Spiderfoot style in Exalted, but it's not things like that. It's all about this undermining, inversion, lies, deception. All of these sorts of things have to be sort of a key component to it. Perverting something, like the perverse hunger on the animals. So it's going to be very different. It's very much more of like shit that you see in The Witch, than like I'm throwing firebolts and blasting lightning. There are some powerful, crazy spells that they're not blast spells, but they do cool shit. they do cool stuff that you don't want to get caught unawares by. But there's what's this contortionism turn you into a living Beyblade? But it's weird and creepy things. Contortionism is great because it allows you to be like vermin. You crawl through spaces you shouldn't be able to fit to. You escape the hangman's noose. You escape any bounds because it's like you're slippery and evil. It's got to fit like that. So it's a much cooler way.
And again, a lot of these things, and this is something that sort of Mythras wants you to do. The existence of these spells and their usages implies like an impetus for you to role play and spend spotlight time on things which are not always merely combat encounters.
Yeah. A lot of this, and that is like some of these explicitly require role playing to even like the
Yes.
what I've forgotten the name already. I'm just brain farting. The one you're the stranger in the house. The
Yeah, welcome the stranger.
welcome the stranger. Like that, you have to actually role play getting up to someone and like getting invited in and convincing
Right.
them and these things. And it's like
Yes.
a GM, like it.
These
You have to do this stuff. And
You
there's-
have to
and the,
do
and
this
the
stuff,
effects
yes.
that some of these other spells can do on you. The locals guys will know this when they look at it. Are things that are going to compel you to role play in different ways.
Yes. Because there's a lot of, we haven't shown any here, but there's a lot of Diabolism spells that are about manipulating, warping, inverting,
Instilling
perverting
yeah,
passions, beliefs, even knowledge or
Yeah.
memories, skills
Yeah.
that I'm going to take or I'm going to manipulate
Right.
illicitly. Right.
This spell is perfect for assassins, spies, and serial killers. Yes.
Sure. Yep.
Could this be a stacked spell? Multiples with different targets. If you're talking about die for me, no. That is something that we need to write into it. One person can die for you at a time. That's
Yeah.
it. And they can, if you are 30 miles away and someone murders that person, you aren't made aware of that.
Right.
So you actually have an incentive to keep this vessel alive.
Yeah, or
Until
again,
you-
also in keeping with these guys' ethos, you prey on someone who is innocent.
Yeah.
Or someone who
And also-
is well liked.
Yeah, it's also things like you have to find a way to brand this person and get away with it and not get
Yeah.
caught as like a criminal or get killed in a fight
But again,
as you're
it's
trying
like
to brand this person. So it's like there's a lot of
Multiple
things.
steps. You could have just knocked them out with
Yeah.
either with a sap, or you could have poisoned their food, not to kill them, but to put them to sleep.
Yeah. Can the target of die for me be something like a cow? No, it has to be
No.
human.
Again, it has to.
It has to be a person. These are
Right.
great questions because we
Yes.
have to write these down. But yes, it has to be a person. I was thinking more along the lines of using creepy contortion to sneak around and hide in
Yeah.
improbable places. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
That's 100%. You can do that. And what they would use it for.
Yes.
Die for me would be a good way to demonstrate your divinity by invoking a noble god and receiving a fatal wound.
True. That's something that they could do. Again, it's like a different flavor of
Yeah.
flesh
ooh.
is power.
See, now you're thinking like a cultist.
Yeah.
That's why we have things on the door. Let the right one in. That would have been
Yeah.
a cool name for it. Yeah. But we didn't want to steal a movie title's name.
Yeah. But it's like that.
But it's that's the
Like
real-
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the feel.
yeah. I thought you were talking about die for me. Yeah. Invitation spell reminds me of a vampire having to ask permission
Yep,
to enter your home.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of vampire, this sounds like a combination of obfuscate and dominate.
Obfuscate.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
It kind of
Certainly
is.
thematically
There's-
with like
thematically,
what
there-
dominate is and obfuscate
Yeah,
is.
there's some inspiration from the Requiem 1E obfuscate, the familiar stranger. But this is more, it's not about I'm impersonating someone. It's just more of like I'm pushing myself out of your mind,
Right.
The spell dulls their perception of something bad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
It's like you're becoming Laura Palmer's mom. You become Sarah Palmer.
Yeah.
You turn away and you look away from the evil
I was
in your
thinking
home.
of like Whites of the Eyes. Whites of the Eyes would have been a good name, too on the nose.
yeah,
But
yeah. This one is so effed up. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Monster-in-law. Yeah, the ex-wife. Berserk's grape horse. Yeah. Imagine 20 predatory cows. Exactly. Exactly. The meth sheep. Exactly. Predatory rabbits. The cows are coming. Exactly.
This is how it starts.
The blood moo is upon us. Yeah. Biblical demon-possessed swine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Primary school students. I was thinking the same thing. Cows on bath salts. Cocaine cow. You guys get it. And I'm like 14 minutes behind the live stream, but the answer is
Turgeon of Mir.
Turgeon of Mir. Okay. Cow cane. Suggestion: some effects for eating the meat of animals cursed with this spell. Ooh.
I don't think anybody would do that, though.
Yeah, I don't think they would either.
I think you would.
But
you
if
would just get mad cow disease or
yeah,
something.
like you would definitely get a
Yeah.
disease. Thank you. That is actually a good note. Thus the phrase "as greedy as a pig." Bricktop from Snatch. Yeah. All of this is adding up to some truly nasty recurring antagonists.
Yes.
That's the point.
That is the point.
That's the point. We're giving you better antagonists and cooler
Yeah.
fucking villains.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And just like
if you haven't supported Cults of Zahak, go back it. It's gonna be so good, guys.
Yes.
It's gonna be so
great.
fucking good. And if you're a fan of Vampire the Masquerade,
Oh,
World
yeah.
of Darkness, and you're like, I don't really like fantasy because it doesn't have this cool horror stuff in it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the thing that you want to read. Ever see Warlock? No, I did not.
I saw it in the 90s, but
Yeah.
I don't remember it. I have to watch it again.
Collectivism, subversion, hatred for all of humanity. Are you sure this isn't communism? It's not collectivism, though. There's not a...
They're not trying to reorder human organization.
Yeah. It's not about that. Like, yeah, they're not trying... Exactly. They're not trying to, now
They
we're
don't have
going to
a political
establish
or an
the
economic
dark
ethos.
kingdom,
Yeah.
or the dark commune. It's not about that. It's about hate, literally just hatred of life.
Yeah. Like, even a dyed-in-the-wool communist would not flat out say all life must stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, did you know in Croatia they did a crime so heinous the Nazis stepped in to stop it? I did not.
I did not.
Yes, Bacon, but the adventure seems to begin with the X-Files theme song, at least in my own conceptualization. The X-Files has a lot of good inspiration to draw from, like the Contortionism thing. Warlock Heretic of the Week, cigarette smoking golem man. Yeah. I never felt that magic should be easy, which is why spellcasters should be fairly rare. And these people would be rare.
Right.
And when there's a lot of them working together, there's much bigger problems that have already happened. They probably caused some of them.
Yeah, these people are not. This isn't like the Church of Asmodeus in Forgotten Realms or in Pathfinder. This isn't the bad guy Catholic Church in the Gothic Bane Temple. There are plenty of evil people, bad, ruthless, sadistic people who are not Diabolists.
Yeah.
There are not an abundance of people who are so willingly far gone that they make this choice. That Zahak has even whispered to them, let alone made the choice.
Yeah. I can already foresee some great plots of state corruption ending with a holy site getting corrupted. Yeah. So how many spells do cultists get? Is it dependent on their rank, and do they get to pick them? So, starting number of spells, I'm not sure. We haven't figured that quite out yet. In Mythras, for regular magic powers, it's something like 1d4 plus 1, I think. Like if you have the magic skill. It is dependent on rank. These are going to be categorized by rank, basically on their power level. Much like the way that classic fantasy does it. And each rank is going to allow you to get certain spells. Not all cults are going to have access to all spells.
Right.
So like the barbarian cult and the nomad cult are going to have different spell sets that their cults know and practice.
This is how Mythras presents
Magic
cults and brotherhoods and magic. No one cult has access to the entire spell list.
Right. And so this is also something, this is tied in one of the spells that we come up, it's the youth spell. This is going to be a part of one of these cults, and it's kind of a place where other cults take trips and journeys to learn and partake of certain things. And so there is an exchange of information, and they don't all get along. Like they're not all like, oh yeah, we're perfectly on the same team, whatever. But it's like ultimately they are on the same team.
Correct.
But their goals, their specific goals are going to be different cult to cult. But there is some sharing of information, but it's going to be limited spells per cult.
Right.
And also, Zahak can teach you them. Could grant one of these things to you.
That
as
is
well.
true.
Better with bacon. Well, that's intense. I'll have to check that out. What did bacon say? Oh, Warlock. Yeah. Villains writing their names in Epstein's Black Book. Yeah. They have the golems for that.
Combat,
For what?
that is.
Oh. Is your laptop's camera on? That might be causing the weird thumbs up. You were making thumbs up signs. Probably. It's not my laptop's camera. The camera is fed into a USB thing that plugs in. It's recognizing a real camera as a webcam, so that's probably what it is. Don't tell them it's funny. Fuck you, man. We love you. I already want to fight these evil dudes.
Hell yeah, man.
Exactly. It's body horror stuff or stuff that goes against the natural order, like making herd beasts violently carnivorous. It isn't red lightning, genuinely skin crawling stuff. Yeah.
Right. It's not just that these guys are a bag of hit points and they do, 4d10 points of damage every round.
Right. Yes, got it about the combat ability stuff. I would consider it more in context of flesh crafting. Yeah, they're not going to do flesh crafting. It's not quite like Hellraiser level stuff.
Yeah, it's not like Hellraiser or Vicissitude.
Yeah. My arm has always been a snake. It just pretended real good before. Now it can eat babies. Bones distorting and joints dislocating with sickening crunches and pops to fit through a mail slot. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm imagining contortion to be like the senator from that first X-Men movie where he slips his head through the bars.
Yeah.
Sort of, not quite. He can really he turns into
just goop, just
at
water.
the end. This is more like if I could just fit, but maybe my jaw's not. If I can, crack the jaw, dislocate that, and that's a little bit of a jelly that I can flit through. But it's like maybe the dome could stretch a little bit, but it's not like plasticity of bone. It's really,
you're not turning into like Mr. Fantastic, but it's like the metaphor isn't 100%, but it's like an octopus can fit into almost any place as long as it's not smaller than its beak.
Yeah. It's much more like that. But if you want like the real way that this is envisioned, it's that guy from the X-Files.
Yeah.
It's the contortionist from the X-Files. Mixed with Death Becomes Her. Mm-hmm. Just less comedic than Death Becomes Her. I appreciate longer spell descriptions. It's not over-explained. It gives insight into how the cults use the spells. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to give some flavor, give a little bit of flavor, and then explain what it does, what they want to do, and here are the X, Y, and Z limitations on it. Will there be tools, suggestions, or skills for Inquisitors, Witch Hunters, and Anti-Zahak Brotherhoods? Not in Cults of Zahak.
But in
the game.
In the game, yes.
That will come later, yes. The full
because
game.
There are
because the full game is the heroic version, is the heroic vision of the world.
Yeah.
Where you play heroes and vitalist, Nietzschean, super-powered,
we're
fucking awesome.
We're
a real vision.
What are we doing?
We're
bridging the divide between the trad cats and the Nietzschean
vitalists. Yeah, exactly. I imagine a cultist would just kidnap children to use their DFM vassal, die for me vassal, because it would be maximally fucked up. They might. I mean, they wouldn't be beyond that.
If they could keep them safe and hidden, they would do that.
But you'd also have to feed them and care for them and all this other stuff.
Right.
And it's In future videos, can I post videos about stuff I mentioned? Stuff that might be cool to share with you guys on the Friends Locals. In future, can I post videos about stuff I mentioned? Yeah.
I don't think in YouTube you're able to post.
You can't. Yeah, you can't post.
You can't
links.
post video links. It's just not something that YouTube.
It's just the channel creator is the only person that can post links in their chat, I think.
But you can post video links
at the
on
locals for sure.
Yeah.
Is die for me an act of violence, or could you use it on the family that invited you in? That would be, that would break the spell if you were to try to brand someone.
But
that is an act of violence. Yeah.
You could use these things in conjunction. You could be let in, and you could use the herbs over the hearth fire that the wife has, and you could concoct some sort of hallucinogen or sleeping and just you could drug them.
Oh yeah, you could drug
them all for sure.
Yeah.
And you could brand them and then leave in the dead of night.
You could do that, yeah.
Because it's like a lot of these spells, some we explicitly mention, most we don't, but a lot of these spells can and would be used in conjunction with one another to further their ends or to stalk someone that these people are looking to undermine, someone who might be weak, might be vulnerable, or who might be in a position of authority or in a position of like reverence amongst the community, and they might know there's a crack in that emotional armor, and we're going to do everything we can to widen that gap.
Yeah. Say James Lindsay's name. Say it.
Oh God.
Our game is fighting the woke right.
Yeah.
Cults do tend to have a collectivist bent simply by nature of the cult's social structure. Individual autonomy has to be stamped down. Some just do it more literally than others.
I mean, there may be some specific cults that have a more collectivist bent to them, but the nature
How can
of...
the Shucked Oyster fight such a threat?
It's a good question.
How can the Shucked Oyster fight such a threat? I don't know.
I don't know. That would be...
That seems pretty like that's a tough question. I want to kill these Diabolists, but if my character falls to the dark side, that'll be fun too. Yeah. And of course, it will always be fun to create a Diabolist character with your GMs, but keep it secret from everybody else. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is there any chance of redemption for the cultists that haven't gone all the way? No. Anyone who is in the cult, who has accepted the Dark Whisper, there's no going back.
Right. Now, it could be that the cult has hollowed out some other organization, and the people in the know are actually part of the cult, and the lay members may just be being essentially propagandized to, or
threatened,
or a point was made. I'm claiming to be some sort of false demigod by using die for me or some of these other powers to fool people, to twist them from
those
the true
people,
way.
Yes,
those people can be,
but it's like the end of the witch. All of that stuff happens.
There's no redemption for Anya Taylor-Joy by the end of that book. By the end of that movie,
she wrote her name in Satan's book willingly after all of that stuff.
Right.
And she made that choice. And I understand that the Christians would say, obviously, that like Satan cannot own your soul. That's not the way it works. Jesus Christ can.
Yeah.
The Shucked Oyster.
That's
would be
not part of this. The Shucked Oyster, what?
Would be part of the cult.
The Shucked Oyster would be. They would serve the cult.
If it made Madame Vice
money, yeah. Yeah, but there's no salvation for these people. It's think of it this way. It's not that like there's a chance for redemption. It's more like the choice of Satan and the angels that fell from heaven. The nature of the angels, their choice was permanent. Like there's no going back for Satan.
Right.
He cannot ever go back. He is permanently this way because it is that in their nature. This is sort of taking that and applying it to these mortals within this world in this context. When they make this choice, there's no going back.
Right.
And it's a conscious choice. You aren't tricked into it. You aren't.
Yeah, it's like Zahak isn't.
He can't be like, ha-ha!
Yeah, when it finally comes to the showdown, Zahak is not fooling you.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I am telling you how it is as I see it. Are you on board? Now,
It's
No doubt I've manipulated
I want you to
you.
hate as I hate, suffer as I suffer.
Right.
And once you do that, and you literally
mine.
part of your soul is hollowed out and gone, you're technically not. You're less than human at that point. You have
Right.
become less human. You have become something evil and weird.
Yeah.
And like we always say, weird things need to be killed. Don't be
True.
weird. Death Becomes Her is a fantastic movie. That's a really good Bruce Willis one as well, because it was like he was known for being like action star in this. He's like the weird, neurotic. I was thinking more like kidnapping and returning to the family, but keeping the kids and treating them reasonably well just for them to serve you as your surrogate meatbag would be immensely fucked up. It would be immensely fucked up.
Both of them would be immensely fucked up.
Yeah. Imagine the players freeing those children just for them to die horribly.
Could
later.
happen if they don't find the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best thing about the Stranger spell, in my opinion, is the PTSD aspects. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah. You've invaded the sanctity of someone's home. You've done like a supernatural home invasion.
Yeah. Stuff happened. They were really scared, had real reasons to be scared and traumatized in all sorts of ways, but they only realized it in stages of remembering. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Imagine the children. Okay, I'm going to keep it. Cults are authoritarian, not necessarily collectivist. Yeah, the woke right. James Lindsay. Got him, guys. Also going to back this Kickstarter too and use it in my upcoming Mythras campaign. Excited to finally get that started. Nice, Loquacious. Thank you, man. We very much appreciate that. There is hope for those who fight the cultists.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
an entire church of hope.
That's true.
There's a saint of hope.
And we've said it before.
Yeah. And the Isle of Hope, the Temple of Hope is on the mystical Isle of Avaloq.
Yes.
In Shadows of Avaloq.
That's true.
And the people who protect that place
are fucking badasses.
Fucking badasses.
Yeah.
Absolute badasses.
Yeah, because hope in this conception, it's not innocence.
No.
It's
not naivete. It's not. Yeah. It is the ultimate rebuke of nihilism and the black pill.
Yeah.
It is the most.
I know how bad it could get.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. Yeah. And no. I know how bad it is right now, and I know it's going to get worse. No.
Yeah. You offer me the black pill, I punch you in the mouth, I down an entire bottle of white pills, and then I get an axe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, there's these are the bad guys. This is the evil book.
Yeah.
The good guys are out there though.
The good guys
are fucking
coming.
awesome. Yeah. Christians would say that anyone interested in salvation could find it. Cultists, once they sign, would not be interested. Yeah.
That's true.
That's
you have
true.
to ask for forgiveness to get it.
Right.
And there's no like Christ
but again,
figure.
Yeah, there's no Christ figure in this. This is not based on or allegorical of Christianity. So it is different in this sense. This is a permanent choice in this game. Like there's no salvation for this level of evil. There's no forgiveness. There is only vengeance.
Right.
Simply better than options. I admit I've not looked into it, sadly. Always be players who will still want to play the doomed anti-hero. You're just doomed in this. You're not an anti-hero.
Right.
You will just be a villain. They can try to be the anti-hero. They're just going to be villains.
Right.
Just got to make sure that John Constantine is actually bad. I prefer it for sure. Pretty sure Nick and Matt do too. We've mostly played VTM, but I had the best times with VTR 2E. I prefer VTR. I like the hunger die mechanic and the stuff from V5, but I like VTR 2E.
Requiem 2E is awesome.
It's really good. So the Zahak initiation is like spiritual suicide. Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Or like a spiritual amputation. It's suicide by the end. Like, if to become a high priest, it's spiritual suicide for sure. The cultist is not the guy who shoots the CEO in Manhattan. The cultist is the guy who gives the man the gun. I say we as in my own group, not Nick, Matt, and I. I don't know those jerks like that. Not to beat a dead horse, but just wanted to make sure when you guys say no redemption, you just mean no salvation, or they also cannot choose to do good anymore.
Well, I mean, it's like the choice to do good wouldn't even make sense from
Yeah.
It's not something that would happen.
Right.
Again, it's like the metaphor isn't. It's sort of a bit extreme, but like
The only act
we
of
know that
good-
like Pinhead was a human. After he's Pinhead,
Yeah.
when he's a Cenobite,
Yeah.
he's not choosing to do good.
Right.
I know in the third movie, like they made him human again. That's stupid.
No, it's the second one.
It's the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the third one, he's a statue that tricks someone into opening the box again. But it's so yes, it's something like that. But it's like the best thing that you could do, the ultimate act of goodness that you could do as a cultist at this point would be to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, that would be the only possible heroism
Yeah.
you would have.
No matter how good you are with many actions after being a cultist, your place in hell has been reserved, and there's no one in heaven that was like you. Yeah. I have an evil character that fucks with evil people in groups as much as heroes, so I'd love to try. They would not choose to be good anymore, even if they could. They already abandoned their humanity. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense. Cool. Daniel Penny is the Hope Cat who fights with the Zahak cultists. Okay. Good is in diametric opposition to the philosophy of the cult of
100%.
Zahak. Exactly. The cults see the decay and death of the world as the ultimate good in a hardcore nihilistic monster's vision of good, as far as I can tell. Yes. And again, there are contradictions baked into this, because if this is the whole thing, it's like you want to see the world burn. If you want the population to decrease, start with yourself. Why don't you just do that?
Yeah.
They don't. And they want the death of all things and the to raise everything to the ground and for humanity to stop reproducing and all of these things. But they keep extending their own lives.
Right.
They keep trying to live longer. Like there's the evil has contradictions baked into it. It is not compatible with goodness, and this is why it's all wrong. Yeah, exactly. I was wondering if cultists might come to a divine realization somehow and off himself. That's possible. Like that would be possible.
Maybe. That's not something.
But it's not something that is really.
That's something you could do in your game for a character.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something we're like dedicating word count
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
At that point, like something like that should be as rare as like Golconda.
Right. Which should be never.
Yeah.
My question about redemption was coming from an angle of imagining a non-cultist character with a loved one that becomes a cultist, attempting to move heaven and earth to get them to turn away. That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's fertile ground for roleplay.
That's cool as hell.
Might just be an RIP for what that wannabe savior, yo.
Well,
But
it wouldn't be an
this
RIP for the savior.
No, it would be an ultimately good thing. They may, but I mean, it's you got to weigh the costs and benefits. At some point, it might be like this is literally allowing like the devil to walk around. We can't have this, but it's like you still want to save that person. I totally get it. This is great role play stuff. And please play that game.
Yes.
Because that would be awesome. What is that?
What is that?
That's our TTS. That was weird.
Huh.
I think maybe Biden was doing something. I don't know. It's also important to understand, I think, that Cults of Zahak is not like the Church of Satan, where they claim that they're just a freedom humanism philosophy.
Yeah,
and idiots
definitely
sign up.
not.
No. They don't tell anybody about it, unless they're like, you're our slave now. You know? Cultist laymen getting offered to shred their soul and just off themselves before taking the deal with Zahak. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like if they invite you in and think that like they might be able to push you into something where Zahak's gonna reach out and whisper to you, and you say no,
they're gonna do horrific things to you. Yeah, you're not walking out of that meeting.
No. What ultimately kills the corruption within?
A bullet.
Yeah, a sword, a spear.
Yeah.
I can see the situation where gullible people signing up and only realizing what's up later. Now their only way out is self-deletion. Well, you could be a lay member of a cult. You could even maybe like tacitly agree, like, yeah, I sure Zahak is the way and the gods are wrong, the saints are wrong. But if Zahak hasn't reached out to you because you haven't actually inverted that terrible passion to something, you haven't written your name. You haven't made that
there is
choice.
still hope for you.
Can absolutely, there's hope and salvation for
and
you.
we're going to share more about some of the sample cults where this will become clearer, because one of the cults is not essentially advertising themselves to the people as a worship of Zahak.
Yeah.
They've been slowly over time manipulating and deviating these sort of natural traditions and values into something which is
lives in the code. I'm sorry.
But they've twisted the community off the path, and over time the people have become deluded that the direction they're marching in is straight into hell, basically. So you have lay members associated with the cult, but they don't know the truth yet. Once you know the truth, you either are killed by the cult or you're theirs forever.
Yeah. The cults have been given full understanding of what is good and evil. They know God loves them and that they reject him anyway. Now they might as well be demons, and they know it.
That's basically what it is. You're hollowing it. It's like the part of your soul that you're hollowing out. Imagine if you're putting a literal demon in there. It's basically the same thing.
Figures they would embrace hypocrisy because they fundamentally hate the truth. Correct.
That is
Personal
true.
honesty would require them to realize they are the problem and they're the ones who have to change. Yeah. The line between Satanist swinger and eschaton cultist is pretty thin. Yeah. Anyways, guys, we've gone 15 minutes over. You got us talking about cool stuff. Almost 20 minutes over.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call it a night. But if this sounds cool to you, share this video with people. Share Cults of Zahak. We're gonna have one more stretch goal to get us past the finish line. We would love it if you guys got this out there for us, because this book is gonna be so good.
Yeah.
And I think people are.
It's gonna be so.
It's gonna be
so cool.
So cool. So anyway, thank you very much, guys, and have a good night.